Alright, what's going on my broskies? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we're here with discussing the SUGO Fest as a whole. Now we've got a perspective now as to what the SUGO Fest is going to be like. We know the dates of stuff. So in this video today, I have an infographic that I've created. Shout out to Anlord though, who come up with just putting the icons together, so I was able to take those and create this infographic. So shout out to Anlord. But of course, this graphic shows us each individual SUGO Fest exclusive, or just SUGO rare character, because it does include Roger and Odin. Of which ones are going to be available on each part. Now, unfortunately, my face cam is covering the Germa one. I could actually go ahead and just remove it real quick. You guys can see there that, you know, the Germa one, you got the Sweet Commanders, and you have Luffy and Sanji. So, let's go ahead and break down each of these parts and just determine which of these is the best parts. Now, obviously, there's one thing straight off the bat that you can see, and that's that in part 1, there are more SUGO Fest or SUGO rare characters compared to part 2 and 3. Now, I think the reason why they did this is because I think Bandai already knew that Luffy and Sanji was the part that everyone wanted to pull for. And the fact that, you know, the Germa and the Sweet Commanders didn't build as much hype as what Luffy and Sanji did. And I think that's partly their own fault as well, because of the way that they structured the event, where they made like Luffy Sanji's part, and then they did Sweet Commanders, then Germa. Like, no one really wanted to pull for Sweet Commanders and Germa after they already spent all their gems for Luffy and Sanji. So I think that was a little bit of problems on their part. If they released all 3 of the banners at one time, that probably would have led to them having more balanced pulls on all parts. But the way that they've structured it, like, everyone's just going to pull on part 1, or most people are going to pull on part 1. But in this video, I want to talk about that and discuss whether or not it's actually worth pulling on part 1, because there are definitely things in parts 2 and 3 that I would highly consider before you do any pulls on this upcoming Anniversary SUGO Fest. So let's get into it. So in part 1 with Luffy and Sanji, let's scroll in a bit here just to have a better look. The characters that are highlighted here, these are the selected SUGO Fest exclusives. You can see it on the bottom. Now, what I mean by that, shout out to the Discord server. The Discord server here, I think, yeah, here we go, Matt's who gone ahead and put this up together. But you can see that here on part 1, it's on part 1, 2, and 3, this one right here. Multis 3 and 23 is going to be a guaranteed selected SUGO Fest exclusive. So that means that on Multi 3 and Multi 23, you're guaranteed to get one of these legends on each of the parts, the ones that are highlighted here. So that already is quite enticing, but yeah, that's the reason why I wanted to point that out, just in case if you guys are wondering what that was. So you got Luffy, Sanji, who are one of the best legends in the game. We've got Roger and Odin, both fantastic units. V3 Akanu's still really solid. Law is one of my favorite legends in the game. Sugar's still very good. Rayleigh not so much. Mihawk Perona's good. Nami, Robin, not a fan of. Viva Rebecca are very good. But outside of that, you've got these characters here, man. This is the big problem with part 1, is that they've kind of just flooded the pool with a lot of characters that basically never see play anymore. Whitebeard is solid, but no one's really using him. CatDog, no one really uses them. No one uses them. I mean, V2 Katakuri is good in some cases, but not used that much. Capone, he is going to be available in the SUGO Metal shop for 50 coins, which I would highly advise doing that. But if you're going to pull here first, then spend the coins just in case. But, I mean, Capone's not that good anyway. You've got Tesoro, who actually is still really good. Nami's still pretty solid with her 6+. This Gear 4 Luffy evolves into Snake Man. He's still really good, but kind of outdated. You've got this Judge, who's still okay, but rarely ever used. This Boa sucks. Magellan sucks. Sanji's not very good. Shirahoshi's okay, but rarely used. Buggy is buggy, and Doflamingo is actually really good in Pirate Rumble, but not very good in regular content. So you can see that, like, the first half of this pool is actually not bad at all. I mean, you got Roger and Odin on this banner with Luffy and Sanji, Wano Law. Like, those 4 characters in particular are characters that I use all the time. I mean, especially with Vivi Rebecca as well. Like, that's 5 characters that I personally, like, full on suggest are, like, characters that you should definitely try and get your hands on. But it's just outside of that, like literally 5 of the 25 units are like god tier units that I would suggest having. Akanu's still really good though, like Mihawk Perona, Sugar, like there's still really good units here, but man, it really sucks that they've kind of just diluted the pool a little bit. And you can see here that if everything goes according to plan, and it's very similar to the Roger and Odin SUGO Fest on New Year's, it should be 0.6% chance per character on any given pull, which is actually still really good, right? But then if you go onto multi 7 and 9, which we can quickly go over and have a look at, multi 7 and 9 have the added effect of being a 6 times chance of a SUGO rare character, which is technically double the normal rate for the base rate for this SUGO Fest. And then on multi 14, it's a 12 times chance. So if we go back over here, multi 7 and 9, it's a 1.2% chance per character on multi 7, 9, and then multi 14, 2.4% per character. So there we go. And of course, multi 2, just looking at that specifically for part 1, the last wanted post is guaranteed to be one of the new recruits, Nami or Bedge, which is like whatever, like that doesn't really make a big difference because like all of them have the exact same SUGO Fest structure. It's just the fact that you know, the characters that are available are different, and that second step is the only actual change between parts 1, 2, and 3. Across the board, though, I do think this is still a good SUGO Fest, you know, just in comparison to whatever we have previously. This is still a phenomenal SUGO Fest just because of the characters that are available here. And the steps are actually really good as well. And you gotta remember, it's a 15% chance to get a red poster on any given poster. So I think that, you know, just you should be doing pulls anyway, just because it's a really high chance to get a red. And if you do get a red, hopefully it's one of the ones that you're missing, right? And of course, that's also something that should be said, is that if you're missing a lot of characters on part 1, just go on part 1. Like, if that's the part you're missing the most characters for, just go for it, man. I mean, especially if you're missing both Roger and Odin, yeah, you probably should just pull here, honestly speaking. But anyway, that's part 1. I think part 1 is still pretty solid, though. Part 2, though, is very interesting. Now, obviously, we know that it's the Sweet Commander's part, but the other thing that we need to talk about is this one right here. You're guaranteed to get the new Perispero Rare Recruit on the second multi of part 2. Now, the thing about that is that Perispero is only available on that banner, and it never, like, comes back on another weird banner. At least to my recollection, I don't remember it returning anywhere else. Like, this is the only place to get it, and that Perispero is a really good unit specifically for the Sweet Commanders because they're a super type unit and Perispero can help proc that. He's a good unit, got a great support as well. Lots to like about that Perispero. So I would still suggest to do at least 2 multi-pulls on part 2 to get your hands on it. Now, if you've only got enough to do like, you know, 2 or 3 multis anyway, you probably should just pull in the part that you have the least amount of legends on. Or if you don't have Roger, you know, go for him or whatever, you know, but if you've got the available gems and you just don't know where to spend them, I do still think doing 2 to 3 multis on the first part of, or the second part of the SUGO Fest here is quite wise. Because if we have a look, all of them have the same structure. It's just the second multi that's different. So if you're on part 2, you know, you do the 30 gem here, you do this one for Perispero, that's 80 gems. And then if you have a look at multi 3, it's guaranteed to be a selected SUGO Fest exclusive. So you get a chance at one of these ones here. Sweet Commanders, amazing. Odin, amazing. Kid is okay if you don't have good dex units. Blackbeard is great. Sabo is mid. Snake Man is phenomenal. And then Luffy, Zoro, a little bit outdated. I mean, like, you know, Odin is basically a better version of them. But either way, like, you know, the third multi, you're guaranteed to get one of those 7 units. So I think that if you have, like, a bunch of gems and you don't know where to spend them, doing 2 or 3 multis on Sweet Commanders is a really wise idea. But if you're the type of person that already has, like, all of these characters, or you're missing, like, one of them, but it's, like, Luffy, Zoro, for example, just do the 2 multis and then spend the other multi somewhere else. That's what I would suggest you do. Now, looking at the third part is my favorite because it's got Germa, and Germa are my favorite of the 3 new SUGO Fest exclusives here. But have a look at what we got here. We've got Germa, Roger, Boa, Super Type Katakuri, Shanks Crew, Sober Mask, and Chopper are all the selected SUGO Fest exclusives. You are guaranteed to get one of these units on multi number 3. That is pretty crazy. All of these characters are like used in some fashion right now. They're all usable characters. Whereas you look over here, like Kid sometimes, you've got this super type Sabo sometimes, and then Luffy Zoro sometimes. And then you look at this one, I mean, like Rayleigh never used basically. Nami Robin sometimes. A couple of these are like more sometimes units. Akainu is more of a sometimes unit. Still really good though. But then you got this one, where basically every one of these characters is actually used. I mean, Katakuri, you could say, is probably the one that's used the least, you know, comparatively with everyone in the community. I use Katakuri a lot. I think he's good. Shanks Crew is like a top unit in the game. Roger, top unit in the game. And then you got both Germa and Boa being like amazing Psy super type characters. You've got Chopper, who enables you to farm cotton candy better. Plus, he's got a great utility special. And then Sober Mask is a great sub on like a ridiculous amount of teams. This is insane. 3 multis to get one of these guaranteed is so worth it. But the other thing that we have to talk about, multi 2 on part 3, you get another guaranteed legend. So even if you're the type of person that, you know, doesn't really want to go too hard on part 3, you got a discount on the first multi, a guaranteed legend on the second, and then one of these 7 guaranteed on the third. This is pretty awesome, dude, especially if you are missing Roger and Shank's crew. I mean, both of those characters that work so well together, as Redhead Pirates enable you to proc the super type special of Roger, and they're on the same banner as well. It's so freaking good. And remember, because that parts 2 and 3 have a reduced amount of SUGO Fest exclusives that you could pull, the rates for each characters are actually higher. 0.83% chance for each character. Multi 7 and 9, if you go that deep, is 1.667% per character. And then if you go to multi 14, 3.33% per character is very, very good. Now, of course, it does also come down to what characters you're missing on your account, and that's probably the part that you should be going absolutely crazy for. But again, I just want to put this in perspective for you guys because there are a lot of good things going on here. I know a lot of people are really hyped about Luffy Sanji, but you have to look at it in multiple different angles because you got Perospero on the Sweet Commander's part, who's a really good character that is not easily accessible, and you just get him for 80 gems. And if you are missing anything else extra, you should probably do the third to get a selected unit, one of those 7 units there. And then for the Germa part, you've got such an amazing list of characters here, and you get 2 guaranteed legends in your first 3 multis, and one of those guaranteed legends is one of those 7. So I just want to put it out there that you know parts 2 and 3, which do look less enticing for a majority of the player base, actually are pretty freaking good. Then of course you've got Luffy and Sanji, which have both Roger and Odin and Wano Law and Viva Rebecca and Luffy and Sanji. So I would say if you're the type of person that is missing like a majority of these selected legends, just go on part 1. I do still advise to get Perospero because he's such a limited time unit, but it is up to you at the end of the day. That's the thing that I just want to put it out there. I just want to put it out there that all 3 of these parts are actually really, really good. It just really comes down to what you're missing and where you are willing to spend your gems. So as I said, parts 2 and 3 are really good, but part 1 having Roger and Odin and all those other characters available is definitely enticing to a majority of players. But that's pretty much all I wanted to make this video about, is just talking about the SUGO Fest now that we have all of the information that we could possibly have regarding this SUGO Fest. Now, obviously, the rates that are listed here are just assumptions. Like, we may have a character that's actually, a higher rate than another character, which would be a bit weird, but it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, that's for sure. But this is exactly what it should be. If it's anything around this, then yeah, it's going to be good, especially with parts 2 and 3 having less characters available, so they actually have a higher rate, so it's actually easier to get Sweet Commanders and Germa comparatively to Luffy and Sanji. And if you are looking just specifically for Roger, then technically the third part is the best part to pull them. Or technically, if you're looking just for Roger, you should probably pull on the Countdown SUGO Fest because their rates are actually a lot higher, but it is up to you at the end of the day. I do think you should be saving your gems for this because there's more powerful selectable characters available. But that's it, guys. Hopefully you learned something. Good luck on the SUGO Fest that's going to be debuting tomorrow. I will be live streaming as soon as the SUGO Fest is up over on my Twitch channel. The link to the Twitch channel is down below in the video description. It's going to be awesome. We're going to have a bunch of people there. We're going to record our pulls. Hopefully I can see you guys there. Good luck with your pulls tomorrow. And if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But other than that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.